Dylan Raiola is who you have your hopes and dreams planted on this upcoming season for 2024. Physically, he is as impressive as he looked during the spring game. Like, you're hearing rumblings around like, hey, man, this dude, I'm glad we got him at Nebraska, man. Like, Lincoln Riley wanted him at USC. He knows quarterbacks. All right, Ryan Day wanted him at Ohio State. He knows quarterbacks. Kirby Smart, he was committed to Georgia for a long time. Knows quarterbacks. Look at what they have in that room with Carson Beck and where he's going to go in the NFL draft. So the bottom line here is Dylan Raiola thus far as advertised. The more important note, though, that I think we should all pay attention to, Dylan Raiola, as a true freshman who got spring practice, is going from being the quarterback, which I expect him to win that job wholeheartedly. I think we all understand that. Going from being the quarterback, though, to being the guy.
Notorious. All right. Welcome back to the Dog Catcher. Welcome back to the Dog Catcher podcast. I am your host, Coach Lee, and today we're going to check out some Nebraska intel. Y'all know I'm like an honorary Nebraska fan while Dylan Raiola there. I've been doing a lot of coverage of Nebraska because I was just that in love with Dylan Raiola's game at the high school level since he was a freshman. Unfortunately, he flipped from my dogs. You know, my Georgia Bulldog. He flipped on us. But unlike the rest of my Bulldog fans, I ain't going to just say he trash because he went to another team. If I believe you can play, I believe you can play wherever you're going. So, and I think Nebraska may even be a better situation for him. You know, and listen, I think Nebraska may be a better situation for him. And I think over the next 4 or 5 years, Nebraska is going to make a lot of noise. Now, do I expect them to beat the Bulldogs? Absolutely not. But under Dylan Raiola, under Matt Rule, and what they're building with that offensive line, that defense they have over there, that running game they have, I believe they have the makings to really make some noise over there in that conference. And we're going to check out this clip from On 3, and I'm going to say my thoughts for the end. Let's get it.
Fall camp intel, it's on and popping. What's going on out there at Nebraska? The good folks at Husker Online, man, Nebraska's On 3 site, they are doing the absolute Lord's work right now. So I would encourage you to get dialed in over there. Nebraska, man, they do fall camp. The first few days of fall camp, at least, a little bit of an old school blue collar way, hard hat, lunch pail kind of way. They're in the dorms, baby. They're in the dorms. Some guys, maybe they stay at their apartment. Maybe you stay at your nice spot on campus. Matt Rule says, get locked in. Bring your AC unit, bring your fan, whatever you want to bring to stay cool during the summer months in Lincoln, Nebraska, bring it to the dorm because that's how we're doing camp.
Ooh, they going back to the 99 and 2000. You got to bring your own AC unit. Hey, those were the good days of camp, man. Those were the good days. I used to love those as a player. I mean, I didn't like them because, you know, we had to do all that conditioning as an offensive lineman. Your boy ain't want to do no running. Yeah, man, camp was them old school camps, man. Those are great.
Nebraska fans, y'all been good to us now. We've had a lot of y'all subscribe to this channel and get dialed in for all things college football, all things your Cornhuskers for the 2024 season and beyond. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, want y'all a part of it, man. Don't want y'all to miss a thing that we have going on this platform, the On3 YouTube channel, on this show, The Hard Count. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all for doing that. It feels a lot like a year 2 Matt Rule team. Is the reports out of camp thus far. To me, that means there's great buy-in, there's a certain amount of confidence, there's a high level of competitive juice. Usually, those things are prerequisites to winning football games. Because last year, there was a lot of talk about how good the roster is. Hey, if they buy in, that was the key word, if they can buy in, they can win some football games. I think they were very obviously on the doorstep of doing that a season ago. Like, gosh dang, 5 games by 1 score is all it took. 5 games by 1 score is what you lost by last year. If you're Matt Rule in Nebraska, you were 5 games. Let's be, a little bit hyperbolic here. 5 games for being a 10-win football team.
And look, let me tell y'all something. I watched at least 3 Nebraska games last year. You know, the first one was Colorado, and their biggest question mark, the biggest reason they lost most of their games because they couldn't get enough production at the quarterback position. Nothing against Jeff Sims, and we're not here to bash those guys, but the facts are the Nebraska Cornhuskers had one of the worst passing attacks in the NCAA last season. Turnovers, the touchdown production wasn't there. So I believe that Dylan Raiola is a major instant upgrade to whatever they had in the locker room. And I like Hayberg. I think Daniel Kalen is a good quarterback. Nebraska's quarterback room has gotten a lot better in just the last 6 to 8 months since signing day, with the transfers and people that transferred out. I think they got a lot better, and they were 1 point or 1 touchdown away from being either tied or winning that football game. I think Nebraska is going to put some people in some dog fights this year. Not Georgia, you know what I'm saying? But everybody else, man, y'all look out.
Now, 5 games obviously is pretty solid margin. Nonetheless, I think that's good news if you're a Nebraska fan. Dylan Raiola is who you have your hopes and dreams planted on this upcoming season for 2024. Physically, he is as impressive as he looked during the spring game. Like, you're hearing rumblings around like, hey, man, this dude, I'm glad we got him in Nebraska, man. Like, Lincoln Riley wanted him at USC. He knows quarterbacks. All right, Ryan Day wanted him at Ohio State. He knows quarterbacks. Kirby Smart, he was committed to Georgia for a long time. Knows quarterbacks. Look at what they have in that room with Carson Beck and where he's going to go in the NFL draft. So the bottom line here is Dylan Raiola thus far as advertised. The more important note, though, that I think we should all pay attention to, Dylan Raiola, as a true freshman who got spring practice, is going from being the quarterback, which I expect him to win that job wholeheartedly. I think we all understand that. Going from being the quarterback, though, to being the guy. Now, what is the difference there? To be the guy, it's like, hey, we go as that guy goes. Like that is our leader. That is the emotional thermostat. That is the competitive thermostat. We're going to follow him into a dark alley. Does not matter the situation. We're rolling with that guy. And right now, it sounds like, again, he is doing the work and taking the proper steps to becoming the guy. He's taking the lineman out to eat. Always a good move for the quarterback, picking up the bill. Flew multiple wide receivers out to his private quarterback coach, I believe in the state of Texas, to get some work in, get some extra timing in during the offseason before they got out to camp. That's a good move. Building the chemistry is massive when you're trying to be the quarterback. Now, it's all well and good to have.
Oh boy, J.D. Piquet hit us with a bar that time. He said he's graduated from just being the starting quarterback. He's stepping into that ilk, that je ne sais quoi, I don't know if I'm using that word or that phrase right, of being the guy. You know the guy is. Shador's one of those guys. Beck is one of those guys. Who else? Who else we got? Jalen Milroe is one of them guys. That boy down there in Missouri, one of them guys. It's he one of them guys. He only a true freshman. We got to get a man some time to develop, man. I got high hopes for Dylan, man. I'm really excited to see what he can do in year one. But to hear some of these amazing things coming out from the Nebraska camp, through On3, through Twitter, is a good feeling. It's a good feeling because your boy was hot when they dropped Dylan Raiola to the 21st overall recruit because he flipped on Georgia. I didn't like that he flipped on Georgia, but if he was legitimately the number one recruit since he was a freshman, and his tape still shows that he's a legitimately number one recruit since he was a freshman, why y'all dropped him because he went in Nebraska? I ain't like that. And then they moved him back to the 7th spot, But I ain't like that. Don't do my boy like that. If he's legitimately the number one recruit, leave him there. It shouldn't matter where he goes. If he's the number one guy, he's the number one guy.
Have a high-profile quarterback and to feel good about his arm talent, but it only matters so much as you have weapons for him to capitalize on his ability, right? Good news for Husker fans. Jamal Banks, transfer wide receiver from Wake Forest. They feel real good about him. Isaiah Nayor. Remember, when he was at Wyoming and transferred to Texas, there was a very widely held thought in the circles in Austin, Texas, that he was going to be a dude for them. Never really worked out, wasn't able to really be healthy at Texas, transfers to Nebraska. They feel like they got a steal in him. And Isaiah Nayor, they feel great about him. Jalen Lloyd, you saw him during the spring game. He was extremely explosive, had a big-time touchdown catch from Raiola in that game where they can stretch the field. Expect him to pick up where he left off. They feel real good about the pass catchers they have for Dylan Raiola. 2 things to track here if you have a membership over at Husker Online. If you don't, again, JD1, $1 for the first month, worth having right now during the fall camp intel days. I fully expect Dylan Raiola to win this job. Does that happen at the end of the month? Does that happen after the first couple of games? Does it happen tomorrow? I don't know. I think it's a matter of when, not if. We all have eyes that work just fine. We saw the spring game. The thing to watch, though, is what happens to Heinrich Haarberg. Because that's a dude now that's a big body, runs like a 4.5 40. He needs to see action some way, somehow. Like, you are doing your team a disservice if you don't have a role for Heinrich Haarberg. So is that Wildcat packages? Do you put him in at the H-back? Do you go a little, do you find a way to have some trick plays in for him? I don't know what it looks like, but we need to keep an eye on that. That's massive.
Now, I don't know how to say to him. I keep saying, hey, bro, y'all let me know how to. Y'all know your boy grew up in Atlanta, man. I ain't get the same English lesson y'all got. All right, but I do agree on two fronts with what Piquel just said. On one hand, we all know Dylan Raiola is going to be the future. Whether that's now, whether that's a month from now, whether that's the fourth game of the season. We know once they hand those keys to the Cadillac to Dylan Raiola, it's over with for whoever else behind them. It's over. So, and I do say from the spring game I watched, Haberg, Harbert, however you say the man's name, I did think he shined a lot in the spring game, and I do think I saw enough there that he could at least be the starter heading into fall camp, and if he comes in the first game or two and he ain't giving me what I need, hey man, it's the Dylan Raiola show after that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree on two fronts, man. I don't as much as I want to see Dylan Raiola play immediately, as we say down here in Atlanta, immediately for the development of him. And I think for any young quarterback, whether you go into high school, college, the pros, I think it's always good just to sit, man, for at least a little bit. Yeah, we know game experience is the best experience, but I just want my boy to get off on the right foot. So if you can hold off on Dylan a little bit, and Haybert can give you something relatively close to at least 2,200 yards production. I think Dylan can come in and give you 25, 26 as a true freshman. But if you can get some comparable experience from a veteran, a guy that's been there for a year or so, I say rock with it.
The thing to track here. Special teams, man. Now, I'm biased here because I love special teams. I think special teams are beautifully American. I hope the kickoff stays the same way in college football. Don't touch it. NFL, do what you want. Keep the kickoff how you want to. But in college, let's keep it how it is. There are multiple games here in true Nebraska fashion that are going to have very close point spreads, all right? Just the way it is. There's going to be a lot of games here that look like they're in like the somewhere to 4.5 to 2.5 to 3 points kind of point spreads. Going to be a lot of close games for Matt Rule and co. Surprise, surprise. Based on the track record, that fits in exactly with what we have come to expect from Nebraska. In those games now, the kicking game can make all the difference. Whether it's a last-minute field goal, whether it's kickoff coverage, whether it's making sure you have a good punt to pin them deep when you're up by a touchdown, like however you want to slice it, special teams will play a factor for Nebraska this year. I promise you, man. I promise you. How does that trend during camp? Something to watch for. So that's Nebraska for you. Again, dial in at Husker Online if you want to stay in the know with all things fall camp in.
All right, so that's my boy JD Piquel. JD Piquel is my absolute favorite media personality on 3. If he ever in Atlanta, but I love to get a bill with Piquel, man. I think me and him share, we don't share a similar view. I actually disagree with him on a lot of stuff, but I respect his opinion. I respect his intel, and I think Nebraska will. I definitely they're gonna be better than 5 and 7. They could even make a bowl game. And if Dylan is what I really think he is, or what I know him to be, based on what I've seen for 4 years at the high school level, they could be one of them guys in that 12, 11, 10 spot. They could be. I ain't gonna listen, man. They could be. Based on I gotta go back and look at the schedule before I put my final predictions out there. But yeah, man, I think Dylan Raiola plus Matt Rule plus everything they had from last year. Plus, I gotta look at the schedules. We gotta look at the strength of schedule. We gotta see what those trap games are. We gotta look. We gotta see. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Nebraska fans, go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to your boy. Holla at your boy. Holla at your coach. I'm out.